You see, that proves this is an old building.
You were right.
You
were right. I know. I remember. That's literally the first thing I thought of in my head. I'm like, he was right, bro. It was old. That is an old building.
Electricity. They don't have any
cold. Right. Whenever you're ready. All right. One of the hardest things about being a man is that you don't feel like super free to talk about things, right? So a lot of times you kind of feel like you gotta hide stuff or keep it under wraps so that you don't look a certain way. But what are some of the things that we do? What are some of the things that you would say you do, right, to deal with those situations that maybe no one else knows about, right? When you're having a tough day, when you're having a difficult time. I know some people like to eat. They deal with their stress, their whatever, eating. Some of them, obviously, relationships help out a lot. Some obviously healthy, some unhealthy. But, it doesn't even have to be personal, but things that you've seen in other people, other men, about how we deal with those tough days when they come through.
For me personally, I feel like responding to your question, I'm the type of person where I tend to like internalize it because I don't want others to know that I'm having, a bad day or rough time a lot of times. That's just how my personality is, and that's just, it's kind of like how I grew up. I don't know why, it's just like, but whenever like I am having like difficult times like that, I do have like a specific number of people that I can contact, like Jesus. This even happened recently too, where I was just dealing with some problems, and I called up Jesus, or just texted him, and Jesus invited me to his house. I feel like having like that social support, that social network, that group of friends that can be there for you. That's something that definitely like helps sometimes in those situations. Yeah. But it wasn't always like that. Before, it was kind of like, I guess before like 5-10 years ago, when I was a kid, it was more like, internalize and not let anyone know. But that's just something that's, I guess, like when you know a good set of friends for some time, you kind of like open up to them. And when you see stuff together, I feel like that's at least that's how it was for me. Yeah, but other than that, like I wouldn't really tell just anybody.
If you could, would you?
If
it was like socially acceptable for you, would you?
Definitely, yeah. Because that I think it would make things a lot easier. It would make me like less conscious of who I'm telling it to versus who I'm not, because I don't know. I guess just like I'm afraid maybe they're gonna like view it a certain way, or see me as being either too emotional, or overreacting, or just I feel like sometimes and I could be wrong, but like they won't understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So having a culture where you are emotionally you're freely emotional, meaning that talk about your emotions, I think will be great. But you also need to consider that, you are emotional because one way or the other you see this situation as an issue. And there's a fact, nobody likes to hear about other people's problems.
Right.
I was, luckily Rahad and I, we have a very close relationship, and I'm very lucky that you decided to express your feelings with me. Talk about what you were going through.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But the problem is that when you go outside on the street and you tell them, "Hey, I'm emotional,"
right?
What do you think is going to happen? They're just going to walk away.
Exactly.
So it's not about being macho or not. It's who you go and talk to, who do you go to talk to you about this feelings or emotional issues or any other thing. So it's great. It will be a great utopia, being able to express your feeling with anybody and then feel better about it, which could happen sometimes from here and there. But do really people care what the one you're talking to expressing your feeling? That's the question. Which that's what makes it sometimes a culture of just keep it to yourself. Yeah.
No, but I would agree with that because I think overall, like you said, it's like picking and choosing who you speak with. And even if we did live in a society where you could express your emotions, I don't even think I could fathom a reality like that. Like I couldn't think of any sense where I could walk down the street and be like, yo, homie, I'm sad or something to some random person. Right. And they would be like, oh, my brother,
Let me give you a hug.
Exactly. Like, I don't think any of that would ever happen. So in my mind, I couldn't even fathom what that's like. I couldn't even put myself in that space. But I think it's really important what you guys said about like having like a close group of friends. Some people aren't like afforded the luxury or like the blessing of having people in their lives they've known for a long time, had relationships with, and like experiences to develop. But if you do, like I know I have my brother, I have my friend Alexander, and I have about 2 or 3 other like guy friends at least. And then I have one of my best friends is a girl. Her name is Cecilia, and I speak to them about like collectively different avenues about like basically everything I go through in terms of like my life. And especially Cecilia, that's been a huge help because we relate to each other on such a like close level. She's like the one person I feel that I can like express myself fully to and like be completely vulnerable with, and it's not like weird or anything. So having that is like huge, and I think like when people don't, or if people like don't have that outlet, it makes it harder to like move around or like kind of harder to identify yourself because you're always stuck in your own head or you're always stuck in your own vices.
Right, but even if like we have, because I mean, have you guys felt completely comfortable, even with family and close friends, to say certain things and to be emotional? Because I know for me, it was like true. Even like I love Jesus, but I don't really tell him I love him. You know what I'm saying? Like people like, yo, I love you, man. Like I've had to grow into saying stuff like that to like my guy friends with girlfriends, whatever. Like I think it's a little easier, at least for me it is. Yeah, but and that goes into right. Maybe it goes into the homophobia, right, that exists in culture today, right? Or
maybe before when we were growing up, because my nephew, when I talk to him, he's like, "Hey, I love you.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Trust me, I'm here," and all that. But then 10 years ago, sorry to interrupt you, it was a different kind of situation.
I'm not gonna lie, that's 100% of the reason why I would have any not like I'm afraid of someone being like, oh, you're gay or something like that, but like because of like you said, how the environment we kind of grew up in, like just socially, I get those uncomfortable tendencies, even when it's like my mom or my dad or something like that.
Right, even with your own pops. Like, I'm like, Pop, I can't really tell my pop, I love you. Like,
exactly.
He's gonna be like,
I feel so weird saying
wrong with this guy right now.
I feel so weird saying that. I feel bad too because I'm like, it's my dad. I gotta love him. Like he's been in my life my entire life. He's always provided. He's been there. But like, my mom, like, I love you, mom. It's cool. But like, my dad, it's still to this day. Like he'll be like, or like he'll give me a hug or something, or like we'll have that moment where you're saying goodbye and stuff, and it's like, do I dab him? All right, I'll see you later, buddy. Well, me and my mom was like, oh, mom, kind of thing. So it's just, I think like what you said about the homophobia thing, I'm not gonna lie, like if I'm being completely honest, it does have to do a lot with that because I would feel so uncomfortable being like one of my guy friends, and then like 2 of my guy friends are both gay, but even to them, if like I was like, I love you, bro, or something like that, like coming off my tongue, it doesn't ride.
But even it's just, I think for me, it's more like I've had to learn that. Right, those emotions, and being expressive in that way doesn't mean that you're gay. That's not attached to only.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not gay people aren't the only people who are expressive in that way, right? It's just that I guess they're known to be more expressive in that way with their words. But I think that I've had to learn, like growing up, it's perfectly fine. Now you can say, I love you, man. I love you. I mean, not with everybody, because I've seen on the other side of the spectrum, these people that they take it to another level, like they love everyone, right? And I love you. You don't even know me, like it's not like that either. But I mean, that's just me, right? That's just me.
I mean, I also feel that social media has played a big role into it. I'm feeling this way of being able to accept that you can tell another male best friend anything, I love you.
Mhm.
I was looking at this TED talk from Justin Baldoni, who has a similar movement. You know, he was expressing that, you know, while his childhood, you know, his dad was showing that it's okay to show your feelings, you know, and you know, following him on social media sites, you know, watching his TED talk, you know, it makes sense that it's also, you know, at least now you see people out there doing it. So therefore, wow, if he's doing it, why I can do it too.
Right.
So
No, that's true though, because I have seen. I think especially the last like 3 years specifically, I have seen a lot of like new wave stuff on social media and things where you do see like men expressing themselves differently or expressing like love towards another man differently or just
That's
like
cool,
appreciation.
man. That's cool.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
Like it makes me feel a lot more comfortable going around and doing it stuff because like I said, growing up it just was like it was just like it was a farce. It wasn't reality really.
Yeah, I think social media is just really helping and portraying a different picture,
Yeah.
bringing certain things to life.
Yeah.
To really expose it.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool because like I've noticed that you know guys in spaces where you wouldn't think that they would be open to talking about things like athletes or like you know actors or something like that. Seeing them like open up or just being like vulnerable, talk about their mistakes or their downfalls is like been super helpful, at least in my own experience. Because I'll like watch a video or listen to some content and like, yo, I've been there before. Like, oh, you know, I felt that. Like, you're not the only person. I feel like a lot of times as a guy, you feel like you're the only person with that emotion, and you have to fix it because like no one in the world is gonna help you.
Exactly.
You know, you gotta take care of yourself. You don't know how to.
I notice a lot of guys too now are more comfortable, you know, seeing like high schoolers or middle schoolers today, compared to back, you know, when I was in middle school or high school. A lot of them are more comfortable with like going down and shopping and like fashion, and that's like something that's like something new that I've seen recently. You know,
That's true.
where they're okay with like you know going together to check out like the new sneakers or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
You know, or just in general, like either hang out and buy the latest like hoodie or whatever.
Exactly.
Like when I was in like middle school, the big thing was like Jordans and baggy jeans. That was like you know that was the style. It wasn't about like I guess it wasn't about you know go together to the store and you know shop with your best friend or your guy friends. Whereas now I see more of that like happening, especially like you know in the downtown city area.
It's like a natural competition kind of thing.
Yeah. So I guess it could have like positives and negatives, but it's just something new that I noticed too.